Good morning, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about people with past lives, and also that are starseeds, and to why they feel like the present timing, like modern timing, or planet Earth, like isn't their home. That they feel like somewhere in outer space is their home, or they feel like that modern timing isn't home to them. I know that around people that don't believe in past lives, it's going to be quite a skeptical feeling, because a lot of people out there, they don't. There are some people out there that don't understand, and mainly because if they haven't been experiencing anything to do with star seeds or past life, they tend to won't show any understanding really unless they go and experience it for themselves. I know that it's hard for people to, like, if you're from like an atheist background, for example, I know that it's hard for people to start to believe in deities, especially when nothing's been appearing to them, and for people that have been involved in religion and working with deities and then not experiencing them, and then go back to being atheist because they haven't been experiencing them, or experiencing, deities that they haven't been drawn to, and then being put through a lot of problems because they haven't been experiencing deities that they haven't been drawn to or didn't want to work with anyway, and them not being the reason to why they're involved in these religions in the first place. I know it can land a lot of stress, a lot of problems, especially when you're surrounded by people that haven't been experiencing what you have, and you literally feel on your own. You feel like you've got no one to turn to about it. I know that even from my own experience, it is hard, and it is tough that you just feel like you're on your own in a lot of experiences, and it's not pleasant. So this video is just kind of, as a comfort to just kind of address to why people feel what they feel. And so we'll start off with past lives first. So people with past lives, they will start to feel connections to parts of history, like for example, Titanic, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, where they will start to feel like modern timing for them isn't their home. They will feel like their homes revolved around the Edwardian period of the 1900s up to the Titanic era. Same with people that are Victorian, past lives, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece. So they will feel like all that timing is where they belong. They can adjust to things. When it comes to modern timing, they don't feel that they're a new soul that would emerge into modern timing and take to it very easily. With people with past lives, they tend to be very old souls, so they will tend to feel more connected to past history and feel like that is their home rather than modern timing. So with me, I feel like when I'm around ancient Greece, Egypt and Titanic, that feels like that is my home. When I dwell in Titanic stuff, I feel like that is my home. It's where I feel more at home, where I can relate to a lot of things, where I feel like I can be myself, where I feel like that is kind of like my home, my comfort, where I belong. And, it'd be quite hard for people that don't experience past lives to kind of accept the fact, well, she's living in modern timing now, so she has to feel like this is her home. It doesn't always work like that. It depends if you're also a new soul or an old soul. If you're a new soul, then yeah, you would be in present timing. But if you're an old soul, you would feel like your connections are with your past life. When things start to kind of open up, like my opened up with Titanic, I did past life regression meditation, and it was in that. So when you feel like, when it opens up, that's when you start to realize, that I'm an old soul. But I've always felt with Titanic that it's always felt like home to me. It always felt where I could, express myself, you know, to who I am, where I would feel most comfortable. And there is modern timing that I cannot adjust to whatsoever. It doesn't feel like home to me. Same with, you know, ancient Greece and Egypt. You know, like when I've got an ancient Greece because I was reading that last night, you know, and you just feel like, you know, that from that time period onwards, that you just feel like all that time period, like ancient Greece, Egypt, and Titanic is your home, you know, where you belong. So people with star seeds, again, you know, they don't tend to feel like planet Earth is their home. They feel like somewhere in outer space is their home, so they can adjust to being here on planet Earth because they don't feel like that this is their home. They feel like somewhere in outer space is their home. So if you were to say to you know, someone who's a starseed, well, you're living on planet Earth now, so you have to adjust. It doesn't work like that. You can't tell someone who's a starseed to adjust to planet Earth stuff when it doesn't feel like home to them. It's like saying to someone who's a node soul that has past lives and said things, well, you know, you need to focus on modern timing. They can't focus on modern timing because it doesn't feel like home to them. You know, and it's the same thing if you were to say to a starseed, well, you know, you live on planet Earth now. You know, this is your home. It's like, just because they're here doesn't mean to say it'll feel like home to them. You know, just because the people that road souls live in modern timing doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean that it will feel like home to them. You know, it wouldn't feel like that. You know, this is why people that share no understanding, because they haven't been experiencing starseed, because they haven't been experiencing past lives, well, generally, you know, you could only wish that they did, so they'd be able to share that understanding with you. But it's the fact that they haven't been experiencing and been quite skeptical about it, which they won't understand it, you know. But this is what happens, they won't understand it unless they experience it for themselves, and then they'll be like, oh, right. You know, it's only then will they share the agreement with you unless they experience it for themselves. But this is the thing with experiences and beliefs: people won't believe or you know, take to experience unless something goes to them where they start to experience it for themselves. This is why some people that have been involved in religion and go back to being an atheist because they haven't been experiencing deities, to why they end up going back to being an atheist. They won't take other people's experiences as beliefs that deities are out there. You know, it'd have to come from their own for them to believe in it. You know, it's not easy. You know, it's not easy to just start believing in stuff without experiencing anything, because you'll always be quite skeptical. You'll always get that, you know, interference, you know, saying, you know, that there's nothing out there because you haven't seen it, because you haven't been experiencing it. So it is quite difficult. It's not as easy to what everyone makes itself out to when they say, well, you don't have to experience. It's like, well, if you don't have to experience, then why people are atheists? You know, the reason why they're atheists because they haven't been experiencing God. You know, there's been no deities out there to them. That's why they're an atheist. And it's like, well, they say, well, we know what an atheist is. It's like, well, yeah, so you should know what causes it. You know, it's all right people saying that you don't have to experience, but what causes someone to be an atheist? What causes someone to stop believing? Why are so many people discovering religions from Christianity because they haven't been experiencing Jesus? Why are people discovering religions from say, for example, the Greek religion because they haven't been experiencing Greek deities? It's why they go and discover something else. You know, this is why people are discovering because they haven't been experiencing. Because they've been getting completely nothing from deities that they were wanting to reach out to. And this is why they've gone and discovered others. You know, you just can't stay in something where it's not, where you're getting completely nothing. And so this is, you know, and this is, you know, from past life perspective and starseed, you know, when something doesn't feel, when they don't feel that modern timing is their home, they won't respond to it. When starseeds don't feel like planet Earth is their home, when they feel like somewhere in outer spaces. You know, I did a starseed activation of Pegasus ages ago, and I've always had a fascination with space. Space was the only thing that I passed in science. I didn't pass any other lesson, any other subject in science other than space stuff. Space was the only thing that I really enjoyed, that I felt connected to, and it was the only subject that I generally passed in school was space. It's the only thing in science I excelled in and did well in. So I've always had a connection with space. I do watch, I am known to watch space things. And obviously stargazing as well is connected to space in some way, you know, with like the constellations, when you study the constellations, which I do. Astronomer, so I do stargazing. I do have a stargazing globe, so I am known to do kind of like stargazing stuff. My first stargazing experience, I didn't manage to catch the Orion. He was a butterfly. It was the full constellation of the Orion. That was from my first stargazing experience that I had. And then after, other constellations started to appear, like Cassiopeia, Pegasus, and the Pleiades. So, you know, I managed to. The only one that I haven't seen is Andromeda, but I do have a star constellation globe, which I do have. So, you know, and speaking of, you know, the subject of experiences, you know, it's sometimes experiences can also make you feel like you're on your own. And when you're surrounded by people that don't experience what you have, it just makes you feel you've got no one to turn to about it. I know that I've been in that situation a lot more times, and I've experienced something that generally means something, which isn't good. It isn't great, because, you know, you start to feel like there's something wrong with you, you know, question like there must be something wrong with us, you know, to why you haven't been experiencing, you know, things that mean something. When everyone around you, your friends, have all been experiencing things that would mean something to them, and you're the one out of all of them that hasn't, you know, you start to question, you know, oh, whether there's, you must be something wrong with us, or we're not good enough, or, you know, it can leave you feeling them, start questioning them things, which I actually find quite disgusting, that it's leaving people questioning things like that. You know, I generally find it quite disgusting that it's leaving people feeling like that. You know, I know, because I've been there far too many times. It is quite a disgusting thing to start feeling about yourself. And, you know, I've been through many, you know, experiences, you know, and experiencing crap because I haven't been experiencing deities that I was never drawn to anyway, you know, and wasn't even the reason why I got involved in the Greek religions. Now, you know, I'm not a strict recon, so now I've started my own paths of Greco-Rose polytheism, Kemetic Lotus polytheism, and Titanic polytheism. So I was trying out the polytheism out within my paths, and up to now, I only started it yesterday, the polytheism part of my path, because I was pagan, but I moved into polytheism. So to see how it would go, it's been alright up to now. I only started it yesterday, polytheism, in my own paths, because I'm not strict recon, so I kind of do my own paths, which I do myself. Maybe because I'm not a strict recon, so I won't be the sort to say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, because I'm not a strict recon. So I'm very open to a lot of things. The experiences that I experience, which are mainly not coming from the deities that I actually work with, would put me through experiences of me not being a strict recon, but of me being a strict recon, but I'm not one. I'm not one, just as much as I'm not hard polytheist either. I'm a soft one, so. But yeah, it's yeah. But sometimes, you know, people are not going to understand it, especially when they're not experiencing it for themselves. You know, it's you could only wish that they did, so they could share that understanding with you. you know, but you can't make someone focus on modern timing or feel like the earth is their home when it doesn't feel like it to them. You know, just as much as you can't expect people to accept experiences that they don't want to accept. You know, you just can't. When it isn't something that person feels is their home or something that they can't accept, you can't force them to, you can't expect them to. You know, it's the same sort of thing, you can't force them. You know, it's, yeah. So I decided to just do this video just to kind of, you know, just put it out there and just to kind of give kind of reassurance. And, you know, if people do make you feel like you have to focus on modern timing when you don't feel like home to you, when, you know, when people are saying, oh, you need to focus on planet Earth now when you're a starseed and you can't, you know, it's just a kind of, I mean, I'm not claiming to be a starseed or anything, but I do know quite a bit about starseed stuff. I do own a starseed deck, which I've wanted for ages, even though I did do a Pegasus starseed activation, because I know that Pegasus does a lot of starseed stuff. And I do love aliens as well. I know that some starseeds may actually work with them. But yeah, so I just thought to do this video, guys, and I hope it kind of give you the reassurance and helps you out a bit. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Bye for now.